Come on in this house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come on in this house. Come on in this house. Nope, not that one. There you go. You're gonna stick right there. That's right. Come on in this house. It's good to see you. Good to have you. Come on in. It's that time for the Red Hot Mic. And I am your host, Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. I want to thank you. Thank you for coming on in. Thank you for coming on in. Before I get started, I want to introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Haley Lamar, who holds my hats until I put them on. Mr. Haley Lamar is my co-host. All right. Well, it's good to have you. And for some reason, it's dragging behind, but that's all right. We're going to continue to move on. And here's to you, and to all that you are and all that you do. Cheers. Pomegranate juice, an excellent antioxidant. All right. It's the Red Hot Mic. And you know how we do it. You know how we do it. We like to come on in the house. We like to enjoy ourselves, party a little bit, and then we'll get down to business. And we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about what you're bringing to the table. Oh man, somebody's going to be mad at me tonight. They're going to be mad at me tonight. Yeah, they're going to be upset with me tonight. But that's all right. That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. We keep going. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Woo! All right. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. It's time to get busy. It is time to ruminate, elevate, and activate right here on the Red Hot Mic. Yes, I'm really excited about tonight. I'm excited about what we're going to talk about tonight because I'm telling you, I've had some folks that are really upset about what's going on here. And well, what can I say? We're going to continue to do what we're doing. That's what we're going to continue to do. Tonight we're not going to be on Facebook. We're just going to be streaming from StreamYard and going straight to both StreamYard and YouTube. And that's fine. For some reason I'm having issues with Facebook because we started a new page with our new channel. So we have to work out the kinks and find out what's going on, and then we'll do it. We'll get it straightened out. And our new station, YouTube station, is called the Purpose Sphere. And the Purpose Sphere is a spirituality kind of approach to life. And I'm hoping that you'll join us. If you look on the screen, you could see the logo for the program. I am learning. I'm growing. And one of the things I'm learning is that you got to check everything. You gotta check everything and see if everything is on, everything is everything. But anyway, it's time to get busy. Come on in this house. Come on in this house. Come on in this house. It's time. It's time to ruminate, elevate, and activate here on the Red Hot Mic with yours truly, Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. Come on in. Come on. All right. I am excited. I am so excited. And so let's get busy because I got some things I want to say about this subject. What you bringing to the table. What you bringing to the table. Because somebody's always wanting to know what you bringing to the table. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's clarify it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let me get the music out of the way. And make sure my phone is on silence. Make sure it's on silent. It's always something. There, it's this Facebook page. It's always presenting issues. Believe me. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I don't think so. Anyway, welcome to the Red Hot Mic, and I am shiny. I am shiny. So let's see if we can tone it down some. Okay. All right. So us dark-skinned guys we need some assistance with lighting and stuff like that. But we'll get better with it. We'll get better as we go along. We're working with some things. We're working with lighting. You see the lighting? We're working with lighting. What can you say? Something is always... There you go. There you go. That's a little bit better. Okay. Okay. So, I've been talking with some folks, and I've been on the different social media platforms, and one of the platforms I've been asked about some of the things that I say, and that I was told tonight, because I put a post up in Facebook where it was addressing the appearance of some black women that were very scantily dressed, overweight, extremely overweight, fake hair, the whole. And I received a chiding, and I get a lot of those. I get a lot of chidings because I'm not afraid to say some things that need to be said, regardless of the ramifications or repercussions as a result. But I was told by another gentleman that I should just leave them alone and just move on and not talk, not even recognize, and not even recognize what they're doing or saying. Let them be free to do what they want. And my feedback to that is, we have over 60 years allowed females free reign to do and to say whatever they want. They talk in a way that's very unfeminine, or if there's such a word, it's not feminine at all. And no one checks their behavior. No one's looking out for our women, so we have to look out for our women. And our women are out of pocket and have been out of pocket for 60 years without anyone saying anything to them. Everyone else gets checked. We get checked. As men, we get checked. As black men, we get checked even more. Who's killed the most? Who's in jail the most? Who's unemployed the most? Who's homeless the most? Than black men. So we get checked. We get checked by our family, our community, culture, and clan. They check us all the time. But for some reason, women of the black women think that they don't need to be checked, and no one has to say anything. But I'm of the opinion that it is our responsibility, and that our women are out of pocket. It's our fault that they are, because we have not addressed their behavior. And some men, or some guys, they're not even men in my book, but some guys are extremely leery and afraid to say anything, because they don't want to upset the wrath of the hot girl summer, or black girl magic. But the bottom line is, there needs to be something said. We need to rescue our females, to teach them and to help them develop mentally, cognitively, in their philosophy, and emotionally. We have to do that, but we don't want to do that because we're afraid of what they'll say. We're afraid of being canceled. Well, if that's the case, if I'm going to be canceled, I'm going to be counseled doing what's right and looking out for the betterment of my sisters. So I'm not going to stop, because it's all about the thing. See, the thing that we've got to understand, there's a difference. There's three genders, or there's three developmental stage within each gender. There's male, and we're going to talk about it a little bit in some other broadcasts, but there's three stages in the two, or the binary gender energies that are here, and it's girl, female, and woman. And what depends on what we've done is we've made the way that we matriculate from one area to the next. We've made it chronological by age, or we've made it biologically by development. In other words, if he's big and strong, he must be a man. If she's got TNA, she's a woman. When in all actuality, she may not be. She may not be cognitively, mentally, or emotionally and philosophically mature, developed. She may be underdeveloped, and as a result, we have grown people, or appearing to be grown, and they act like they are either a boy, or I should say a girl, or a female. And so they haven't matriculated to womanhood. And so we've got to be able to help those females matriculate. And the only way they matriculate is they be called on their behavior. They be called on their appearance. They be called on the things that would cause them to be able to get the results that they want. And I'm sure they don't want to die alone and be all by themselves. And so what we have to do as men is we have to speak into their lives. But I'm getting told by men, we just leave them alone. I'm not going to do it. I care about them too much. I love them too much. And I'm not afraid to speak into their lives. But men should not be afraid to speak into a woman's life. She's come out of us, so she's biologically a part of us. Her DNA is. That's why I have the carte blanche to be able to speak into her life, because woman came out of man. So man has a right to speak into her life. Right? And so women should be able to hear a man. But females, notice I said there's a difference. Now I get charged about that often as well, that I put down women. No, I never put down women. I never put down women. I encourage and I lift up women, and I encourage women. But I discipline females, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do as men. You're not going to let them go. One of the things that we've done as a result of we've let our children go, and now we're letting our women go. We're letting children make their choices for themselves, and as a result, they're choosing that they're going to be non-binary. No. As parents, you're not supposed to put up with that. You're supposed to teach. You're supposed to discipline, and you're supposed to help them to develop. But we don't do that, do we? We don't do that. So now we're going to let the women go about their business too. I'm sorry, letting the females go about their business too. Women are standing right with men. They know. They know. I remember when I used to be real active very active in the church. You couldn't come into church any kind of way. No, no, no. The mothers wouldn't allow that because they were women, and those women wouldn't let you come in there half dressed and naked. They would not allow it. They would approach you, but where Big Mama's gone. She's gone. She's going on to glory, and now we got grandmoms now that are trying to outdo their daughters. You can see it on the social media. They're dancing together, trying to show that I'm as sexy and as vibrant and as voluptuous as she is. No, you're old. You need to realize and take your place in helping to nurture and helping her to develop into a woman that will be able to help for further our species and the legacy of a man. But we don't want to do that now, do we? And when a man stands up and speaks, he's either misogynistic, right? He's either or chauvinist, right? Or he's narcissistic, because he doesn't accept what's being shoved into our community culture and clan. He doesn't accept those things, and as a result of him not accepting it, he's being labeled as a narcissist. They're giving us men, because narcissism is, there is aspects in narcissism that's diagnosed as narcissism that's not narcissism at all. It's masculinity taking its rightful place. I'm not talking about misogyny. I'm not talking about male chauvinists. I'm talking about their characteristics that have been labeled from manhood as being narcissistic, and the aim is to do away with masculinity. So they call us narcissists. They call us narcissists because we're men, and we won't sit down, and we won't shut up, and we won't take the disobedience and the aberrant behavior of females. We don't have to check women. Women are already checked. Women help check us. But there's a difference between a female and a woman, and you can tell the difference in the way that they approach you. But that's something else. We're going to talk about what you're bringing to the table, because listen, this is something that a lot of people are talking about. I mean, I've surfed the internet and the social media platforms, and people are talking about the whole idea of what do you bring to the table. That's the first thing they want to know. What do you bring to the table? I see them arguing about it and talking about it, and they're judging one another about what they bring to the table. And I have a different take on it, and it may be a little heavy for some of you, because but it may not be for a lot of you. I believe that. I believe there's some people out there that'll hear my voice and be able to understand, to hear and understand what I'm going to be talking about in tonight's broadcast. Well, you see the title. You see the title, and so let's get ready to ruminate, elevate, and activate. So here's the question. You know, we want to know, what do you bring to the table? Everybody wants to know what you really bring to the table. Now, what I hear a lot of people talk about what they bring to the table are things that are really, really, really not unique. When you really are bringing something to the table of a life, to the life of a man, if he's asking that question, and if she's asking that question, what should be, well, let's say what it is right now. What it is now is, we talk about our jobs, okay? The ability to make someone to fulfill their dreams while your dreams go unfulfilled. We talk about our education, which is a part of the debt that we have incurred from these universities. And you know, I've worked in universities, I've taught in universities, and I'll tell you this: more and more universities are becoming, you can take online courses. Why do you have to go to a class and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go through a program when in all actuality you can find out the same information? And listen, I'm educated. I'm highly educated, but I understand, and we need to understand that it's more to it, and that the educational system is not the only way to gain and glean knowledge. So yeah, so it's important for us to understand that when we start talking about this whole idea of what you bring to the table, people are asking some very shallow things. They're asking some very shallow things like, your education, how much money you make. Do you own a home? How many cars do you have? What are they? What cars do you drive? It's all about labels. It's all about making someone else rich at the expense of yourself. And so what I want to try to do is take a different spin on what do you bring to the table, because what you bring to the table is not what people are asking you, because they don't really understand the question. What do you bring to the table? So I'm going to give a little bit more different spin on what you bring to the table that you might have not have heard before. Okay. Now I like using analogies and things like that to help me to make points. So I'm going to use a computer, because that's something that a lot of us, if not most of us, if not all, use in some shape, form, or fashion daily. Sometimes more than, especially with COVID now, probably more than we ever have. Now, I'm not a computer geek. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that some things that were dropped inside of me relative to a computer. Now, when we talk about what do you bring to the table, what do you bring to the table? Now, the first thing that we've got to understand is when we start talking about what you bring to the table, the first thing that I want to bring to the table is the importance of my masculinity. That's the most important. Now, before I delve into that, I need to clarify this, because you got people that are putting on masculine traits but don't have the legal right. They don't have the legal right, the legitimate right, and they're not right at all in trying to be what they're not been designed to be. Now, and I'm going to get a little philosophical here. Before we were born, we were an idea, and the idea was that I believe we were picked to, selected, and created to answer a problem. Each and every one of us have a significant contribution to make. We come here with a significant contribution to make, but each is only one. And it's called purpose. But I don't want to talk about purpose tonight. I want to talk about what happens before purpose. When we start looking at the whole idea of masculinity and femininity, even before it enters into this atmosphere, into this realm, into this domain called Earth, what we need to understand is this. Masculinity and femininity are not genders. Not before they come here. They are not genders. They're essence, and they are energy. Energy. Okay? Or someone would even call spirit. But I would call them principles. Principles that are the foundation of everything that is. Everything that is run and governed by a principle, and that principle is outside of this sphere. That's important to know, because when we look to answer questions, we fail to look at the fact that sometimes these answers that you need to find are not going to be from this sphere that we live in, this realm, this domain. Okay? So it's not going to always be. So we got to understand that there is a there is a realm beyond us. And in that realm beyond us is where the whole idea of femininity and masculinity came from. Now, again, they were not gender. They were operatives. They were operations. They were principles. Okay, and it's like a computer, and a computer has a CPU. What is the CPU? A CPU is the central processing unit. Okay, so in the computer, the CPU gives the executive orders and the instructions that are designed from the manufacturer for that computer system to function. Okay, so the CPU comes from, that CPU is the masculine and the feminine before it comes here. Now, let me describe what the masculine and feminine does. The masculine inserts, the masculine penetrates, the masculine injects. Okay? That's what masculine does. Masculine injects, penetrates, infiltrates. Okay? And so it's important to understand that's what the masculine essence does. Now, what does the feminine essence do? What does the feminine energy provide? Well, the energy that it provides is that it receives, it carries, it incubates, and it nurtures. Yes, that's what it does. Now, it's important to understand this. I'm getting ready to get a little theological on you now. When man first came into this realm, he had to come through masculinity, because that's what masculinity was. Masculinity had to come through, and as it had to come through, it wasn't even man yet. Masculinity had to come in, and it's proper and lawful for masculinity to come in. Why? Because masculinity penetrates, right? It injects. So to come into this realm, it had to penetrate. It had to inject, right? That's what some of the things that masculinity had to do. And what happens is we don't understand that. It has to penetrate, pierce, inject, and insert. That's what it does. It does those things. Now, what's important to understand, that's the lawful operation of masculinity. Listen to what I'm getting ready to say. Femininity could not enter into this realm because it was not able to do those things. Now, hear what I'm getting ready to say. I'm getting ready to get a little theological on you and get ready to go to my Bible college and stuff. So what had to happen in order for femininity to enter into this realm, because it could not lawfully, legally, and rightfully come in, because it doesn't penetrate, right? It does not inject. It doesn't pierce. We already said that energy receives, carries, incubates, and nurtures. So it couldn't come into this realm. So what had to happen? What had to happen is masculinity had to cover up and combine and basically cover. That's the best word I can think of right off the top of my head. Cover femininity to allow it to enter into this realm lawfully, legitimately, and rightfully. So once that occurred, once femininity and once masculinity got here and was able to identify, okay, it had even before it had to identify anything. In coming into this realm, what had to happen was there had to be a body. Everything that comes into this realm has to possess a body. Lawfully, legally, and legitimately, nothing can operate in this planet, in this realm, in this domain without a body. Okay, we're talking about humanity. We're talking about all these other things that we've been talking about and we believe in. It needs a body. It cannot enter this realm without a body, legally, lawfully, and legitimately. Someone say, well, they unlawful, they're illegal. If anything that's not legal cannot stay in this realm. It cannot stay in this realm. Okay? Now, when we start talking about the whole idea of coming into this particular realm now and having to put on a body, now, here's the Bible stuff. So when man came into this realm, he was masculine, but he had inside of him femininity. He had femininity. But the Creator said that it was not good for him to be all one or alone or all one, because man recognized that he's named all of the animals of the field and the birds of the air and the fish of the sea, and he found no mate for himself, so he needed to find a mate. And so in order for him to find a mate, he had to go and recognize and become aware. See, this is the thing, guys. You got to become aware of the need for a woman. We've got to become aware of what she brings to the table. Because what she brings to the table is equal but not the same. I'll say it again. She's equal but not the same. How can that be? How can that be? Well, that's easy. 5 plus 5 equals 10. But so does 6 plus 4. They equal but not the same. So it's important for us to understand that she brings some very important things to the table. But those things that she brings are from outside herself. And these things are feminine. And those things that are feminine are going to coincide with your masculinity. It's going to coincide with, so it's not so much what she brings to the table, it's what we bring to the table together. And it's supposed to coincide. There's supposed to be a joining, a two becoming one. Right? Two becoming one. That's the whole idea of relationship. Two becoming one. And so the problem in a lot of our communities is that we don't have two becoming one. And it's not always the woman's fault. And I would dare say, more than anything, the responsibility falls on man first. We've got the shoulders. We're supposed to take on the responsibility. We have faltered in our responsibility. We have the masculine. We are the ones that are built to penetrate, to pierce, to insert, and to inject. And we're not doing anything in our community cultures and clan other than having sex. But that's not what it's about. It's about the masculine idea, the masculine mentality of us being able to start things, to implement things. That's of a masculine essence. Creativity and those kinds of things come as a result of the vision, and vision is something that you see, and that vision is a part of the masculine mentality. Yeah, it's part of the masculine mentality. So where does the woman come in? Where does the woman? Because what we're looking at is when like a computer, when a computer. When we have a CPU, what normally happens with the CPU, the CPU operates by binary code. Binary code, ones and zeros. Okay? Ones and zeros. Okay? That's how masculinity and femininity operates as it comes into this realm. One is operating in ones and zeros. Okay, and so when we take on that body, the masculinity that came from essence, which had both, now splits, and rather than it being binary, now it's singularity. It's singularity now, and it goes into a body, and one body is masculine, the other feminine. Now, in the biblical narrative, we see that same thing taking place when the man realized that he needed to have a mate, and he was put to sleep. He was unconscious, And once he was unconscious, there was a rib taken from him. What does that rib represent? It represents his DNA. It represents his DNA. And in what we're going to be talking about on our other channel that coincides and comes connected with DNA is DMA. DMA. And so this is why a man can speak to a woman, because a woman comes from a man. The woman comes from a man. But a man comes through a woman. When he's born into this realm, he comes through a woman. But that woman is him through DNA. And so what we've got to do is we've got to understand that you have the authority as a man. If you are a man, what makes you a man? What makes you a man is that you're developed mentally, emotionally, cognitively, and philosophically. Okay, and there's other areas too, but we're going to talk about those right now. And so you need to be developed in those areas that give you the right to be able to speak into a life of a woman. Now, so many don't understand a masculine voice because they haven't grown up with a masculine voice. And even if they had a father in the house that he wasn't masculine, he was a male. He wasn't developed in his mentally, cognitively, emotionally, or philosophically. He wasn't. And as a result, or psychologically. And so as a result of that, there's an imbalance in the home and growing up, that there was a mix up in understanding what and how he was to operate as a son, or how she was to operate as a daughter, or in this realm, because they weren't fully aware of what the roles are, both male and female, masculine or feminine, here in this realm. So when we look at a CPU that doesn't operate functions with the ones and zeros, there's one or two things that needs to happen. One is that it needs to be repaired. That computer, that CPU, needs to return to the manufacturer to be repaired. Or maybe not even repaired, at an authorized dealership, where there's someone in our authorized dealership, are those that are our teachers, are our parents, are those that are our mentors, and those individuals that help speak into our lives and teach us what we need to know as how we're to operate and function in a certain particular manner. Because basically, when we came into this realm, our parents were the authorized dealers. See, because when we look at a CPU, the CPU always operates in the background. The CPU continues to function in the background and gives us a foundation and gives us the means by which to operate. See, so when you came here, when you were born here, you came here in one or two suits, right? You came in a zero, or like a computer, either a 0 or a 1. And so you came into this domain as a 0 or a 1, and now you need and that particular masculinity works in the background. That's the CPU working in the background, giving you the things that no one's ever taught you, but you know that is. I've heard someone say that and said it myself. No one's ever taught me. I just knew that because it's in your CPU, right? It's in your CPU. But then you have software dealers or software developers. Now, when you are born and you come into this realm, what happens is you have a CPU, but you have no software uploaded. You have no software uploaded, and you need a software developer to develop software and upload into your computer, right? Those are your parents. That's where our problem is. We haven't had software developers to properly upload into our computer the right information. And some are not doing it at all. They're letting children decide what they want to do. That is the most absurd thing. Children need to be gleaned, need to be taught. They need to be directed. They need to be disciplined. But we don't want to do that. That's too hard. That's too harsh. No, that's discipline. Discipline. Discipline is masculine. When it comes to discipline, ladies, you need to step aside, because discipline is a masculine concept. It's a masculine concept. I'm gonna do a broadcast, and I'm gonna talk about how the characteristics come about in masculine and feminine, but we're not gonna do it today. But I do want to ask you to like and share and hit the notification bell, which I've gone on for 40 minutes and I haven't asked you to do it yet. So please, would you please share, like, and hit the notification bell, because you've never heard anything like this before. And other people need to hear it. Other people need to hear it. The masculinity and the femininity is under assault in our community, culture, and clan. And we've got to take a stance, and we've got to understand the importance of both, because they're equal but not the same. Someone's saying, oh, and I've said it too, a man needs a woman. And yeah, he does. And I've said this, a woman can't survive without a man in this domain. She cannot. She cannot, because she's not built. She's not designed for it. But yet a man cannot either function without a woman, because he needs her, and he needs her certain aspects that she presents, especially to develop his legacy and to give him children. She's critical. She's the most important creation of the Creator. And I shouldn't even say creation. She's the most important. She's the most important. I don't like it saying a thing, but a product that the Creator has formed. Because there's a difference between being created and formed. Man was created, woman was formed. I'll say it again. Man was created, woman was formed. Man was created out of nothing. That's what creation means. It means you created out of nothing. But to be formed means that you have taken it from something, the bone, the DNA, and formed it from something. Woman is formed, man is created. Now, I know that sounds religious, and some people are not going to like that because they don't believe in religion. That's fine, because this isn't religion. It's not. It's spiritual. It's essence. It's before time was. That's what this is. But what we want to do is we want to negate it, because we don't like the suit we're in. We don't like the suit because what we have seen is we've seen the abuse and the misappropriation of masculinity, and it's portrayed in a misogynistic and chauvinistic way. And as a result, it has taken advantage, an unfair advantage. And as a result, some people say, I don't want to be submissive. That's what we're hearing. I don't want to be submissive, because submissive doesn't mean what we've been told. It doesn't. It doesn't mean it does. It's not what we've been taught. But there's this rejection of being feminine because of the abuses, the abnormal uses of masculinity. And so as a result of that, women are kicking against it, and rightfully so. They're not supposed to follow the blind leading the blind. No. They both fall in the ditch. No, we're not. No, she's not supposed. So the responsibility, gentlemen, is for you to get your stuff together. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. You need to find an authorized dealership that can help fix and upload the right things in you, the right software, for you to be able to take your rightful place. And that's what we're going to be talking about on my other station, because we're going to be talking about the software. We're going to talk about the software. This is not we're going to talk about software, but I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that this whole idea of fixing our community, culture, and clan is going to start with you, gentlemen. It starts with you. And that's why I hear people saying, oh, he doesn't. He has issues. He has female issues. He has, what lady hurt him? What woman hurt him? What? No, 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 no. That's not it at all. This is a man here, a man who understands masculinity, and unabashedly and unashamed masculine. Won't take down from it at all. But what we have is we have males out there that will speak against your own best interests because you have not yet developed mentally, emotionally, cognitively, psychologically, or philosophically. You haven't gotten to the place where you understand what it means to be masculine. Because you think like a female. You speak like a female. The language you use is female. It's because your mentality is female, because you were raised by females. And those same females that you were raised by, that you saw reject manhood, reject malehood, reject boyhood, and you begin to forsake your very essence and to begin to put on something that you're not designed for. You're designed, your body, your physical body is a type and shape and shadow of what the universe meant for you to do. Your equipment, your body, your design dictates what you are. It's not by choice nor by chance that you can come into a butterball dance. Anyway, that goes back to a DJ back in. Anyway, somebody out there understand. But the bottom line is that it's not your choice. And so some people are having issues. They're having issues with their design. And so they don't want their design, so they want to blur the line of design. They want to blur the line and do away with binary genders. Everything's binary. Genders, animals, plants, everything at its foundation is binary. Binary. Okay? It's important that we get to understand that. All right, so I've been going on and on. I've lost. I'm trying to get you to see. When we start talking about that CPU, one of the things that we want to understand is this: that when the creator says it's time for you to come into this realm, it was time for you to come into this realm. So there had to be a place where you could be matched. And there's some things that go into you being matched, and so where you were born is significant. So, and we're going to talk about that in the other program. So it's important that you understand that. It's important that you understand that if we're going to operate, function properly, we've got to understand this. There is a gender war, and this gender war is a result of improper software uploads. Improper software uploads and implementation. And because of that, it's not the computer's fault. It's not. It's the software developer's fault for not being present, not being properly able to perform, not being able to persevere, and not being patient. That's right. As parents, some weren't present. Some didn't perform right. Some didn't persevere when the times got hard and walked out. And some didn't have the patience to be in that relationship, to help bring up those children. Men, that is your legacy. That's your seed. That's your seed. Ladies, the reason why he can't stay is because your masculine traits. Two men are not going to stay in the same house. It's never going to work. Two inserting, two piercing, two injecting, two penetrating. It's not going to work. There needs to be a masculine and a feminine. And only thing that can dictate masculine and feminine is the essence, which dictates design, which ultimately comes into body type. So if you can't insert, penetrate, or inject, thou art a female. And I'm talking about by design, not going out and getting it, operating on. I'm talking about coming here with. If you cannot receive, carry, incubate, or nurture naturally, innately, then thou art a male, man, boy. Now, some people are going to have some issues with that. That's fine. I get it. I get it. I am delivering the mail. That's all I'm doing. I'm delivering the mail. And I'm going to continue to deliver the mail. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. This is my assignment. I'm not doing this to be popular. Somebody will, no. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. I also want to mention to you while I'm thinking about it, I have a podcast on Anchor. Anchor is called Pause on Purpose. And I'm on there, and I've been doing that for some time now. And my podcasts have been going around the world. And I was looking at some of the data, today, and it's really, I am really fortunate and happy about what's happening with the podcast. Check it out, anchor.fm/pause on purpose. Okay. So when we start, I want to talk a little bit more about this software developer, and because that's our problem. Our problem is lacking authorized software developers to implement and upload the right kinds of software. And as a result of that, and some software developers are not uploading any software and allowing the computer to go about it on its own. Now, let me tell you this. If you, as a software developer, do not implement the proper software, the community, culture, and clan will. And that's what's happening in our communities now. That's what's happening in our all around the world. Culture, communities outside, people outside that have nothing to do with, is controlling and dictating what is proper and what is improper. The culture is deciding what's vogue and what is not. And as a result of that, what we're doing is we're being controlled rather than controlling. And as a result, our clan is suffering. Our clan is suffering. Now, I'm gonna close on this one thing. I want to talk about an individual that he passed recently. His name is Albert Bandura, a Canadian psychologist and professor at Stanford University. He talked about a lot of different things, but one of the things that I really like, he theorized about social learning. And I want to talk about social learning. And the reason why I want to talk about social learning is this is how we are going to upload. This is how we are, how the information needs to be received. And we need, in understanding how social learning occurs, it will better enable us to be able to upload proper information. Now, the first thing, basically, Bandura talked about 5 steps, but I added one, and I added one because that's who I am. I added one. No, but the reason I added because I thought it needed to be added, and so the 5 steps of Bandura says that social learning is conducted by observation, attending, retention, reproduction, and motivation. I'll say them again. Observation, attending, retention, reproduction, and motivation. Now, I want to explain them, but before I do that, I'm going to put one at the very top. And I want to say that and I'm going to explain it. Before you can do the observation, there has to be repeated behavior. And that's the one I'm adding, repeated behavior. Repeated behavior, then there's observation, attending, retention, reproduction, and motivation. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about how we upload and how the software is received. How the software is received. I'm going to share with you what the software is, but before I share with you what the software is, I want you to understand how the CPU and how the software is received in the computer. Why? Because have you ever got a new computer and didn't know how to operate? I've done it. I'm doing it now. But we've got to understand that we've got to understand how it operates in order for us to better function and use it and to optimize it. So when we start talking about social learning, the first thing there has to be a repetitive behavior, and I'm going to use something that may sound a little off kilter, but I need to do it for this particular reason, because I need to identify the differences and separate the difference because of the masculine and feminine as well. Now, when a child, let's say toddler, in my stages of development, what I talk about certain aspects of behaviors that occur at certain stages in one's life, and you need to get that book, Stages of Development. But anyway, when a child gets to that toddler stage, say 2, what some people call a terrible 2, I call them the observational 2s. Why? Because it's where they're learning, but see, what they learn is what's continually done or repeated behaviors. One repetitive behavior is going to the bathroom. Let's say you have a son and you're a father, and so you go to the bathroom. Okay, you go to the bathroom to urinate, and when you go to the bathroom to urinate, he sees the same equipment that he has because he takes notice that he has the same equipment that you have. He's built like you. So as he's built like you, so he begins to observe your repetitive behaviors. And then he begins to observe those behaviors. And he observes and he really takes them in, because his software is being uploaded. And the uploading is that, hey, that's like me. And so watching you, he's beginning to learn socially how to operate in community, culture, and clan. And so he observes the repetitive behavior of going to the bathroom. He sees you go to the bathroom, and we're talking about behavior that's specific to a man. Okay, when men and women go to the bathroom, they go differently, right? So if it's a boy toddler, he sees the father use the bathroom standing up. So now he sees and he understands that that's the goal, to be able to do that. And so that's the social learning that takes place. So because he's taken it, he's observed it, he's cued it or attended, and so it got his attention, and next he's retained it. Okay, retention. He retains that. And so once he's retaining it, then what he does, he goes out and he reproduces it. He gets to a place where he begins to do and go to the bathroom the same way that he was taught, or the same way he learned, or he learned as a child. And because he's able to do that and to replicate and reproduce that behavior, he becomes motivated to pass that on to the next generation. Do you see how that follows? This is the importance of social learning and how it plays a role in uploading masculine and feminine traits, ideas, and characteristics. We're going to talk about those things. That's the material. That's the software. But you need to understand how how it occurs first. You need to understand how it occurs first. Well, I hope that you got something out of this. I hope you got something out of this, because what does she bring to the table? The question is, what does she bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? You bring masculinity, she brings femininity. Now that femininity and that masculinity, it depends on your individual purpose as to what you need from her. Oh my goodness. What you need from her is going to be what you know that has been uploaded to you through your rediscovered individual purpose. But the problem is, most guys don't know what their purpose is. They don't. They don't. I'm getting ready to on March 1st. We're going to be putting out, releasing a free online mini course, a free online mini course. And it's called The Theory of Purposeology. And what is that? What is that? That's the software. That's the software. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to prepare you how to get ready to receive software. And that's what we're doing now. So what I want to do, if you would give me your email address, if you will put it in the chat, or you would email me at Palmer GA15 @gmail. I'll put it also in the description below. But if you were to do that, I will send you an invitation to this free mini course. It's going to be amazing, because it's going to be amazing. So what I want you to understand is there is a gender war, and I think the gender war is because of a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge, and because we have a lack of knowledge, we're destroyed, we perish, and we come against one another. We're at each other's throat, when in all actuality we're supposed to be like this. So I'm gonna continue to press this issue. I'm going to continue to press this issue, because it is very, 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 very critical in this day and time in which we're in. We are in a day where masculinity is under attack, and toxic femininity is running amok. Yes, I'll say it. It is. And so what we've got to do is, there's some things that have to occur. Some changes have to occur. And in order for us to do that, we have to be willing to do things differently. Well, that's it for this particular session. I hope you've gotten something out of it. I've gotten a lot out of it, and I continue to get a lot out of it. And I'm going to continue to, because repetition is the seed of learning. Repetition is the seed of learning. See, so many times we think that you hear it one time and that's it. No, but you need to continually to hear the same thing over and over and over again until you get it, until your awareness becomes enlightened, turned on. I still want to see my eyes. And turned on. So I want you to understand that, sure, you're going to hear some of the things over and over again, but it's because you need to hear them. And when you recognize that you heard it before, then what you can do is you can then begin to attend, you can begin to retain and to reproduce and to be motivated by it. Anyway, thank you for coming and spending time spending time with me. I enjoyed this, because you know what, when you are in your place, you enjoy it. It's not work. You know, a job is not work. Work is what you were purposed to do. That's work. And so when you're doing your work, and this is work, it is work. It is work, but it's work that I enjoy, and it's easy. It's easy, and I can do it and do it and do it. I can do it and forget to eat. I'm researching and I'm doing things, and I'll forget to eat. I'll do things and I'll forget to sleep. I'll do things. I'll be sleeping and I'll wake up and I have to get busy. I have to do this because this is my purpose. This is my purpose. Helping you to rediscover, okay, proper functionality. And who am I? I'm just the mailman. That's all I am. I'm the mailman. All I'm doing is delivering the mail. Nothing else. Nothing special about me. Just a cat in the hat. Just a cat in the hat that's doing what he's sent to do, delivering the mail. Not religious, spiritual, philosophical, psychological. Tonight we got a little psychology in there. We got a lot of physics. We even got some philosophical, and we also got a little theology in there. We got a little biblical narrative. Okay, we talked about the Bible. I don't believe that the Bible is a religious book. We talked about that before. I don't believe it's a religious book. It's a book that's for everybody and for us to learn how to function properly here on earth. All right. Well, it's the red hot mic, and it's hot in here. Woo! And I hope you enjoyed the heat that came. And if you got any questions and something that's not clear, I'm hoping that we can continue to replicate and continue to repeat. And as we continue to repeat, hopefully you will gain more and more. Okay, well, I want to go and let you have the rest of your evening. And please share, like, and hit the notification, please, so that we can share and spread this message of purpose, and that we can share this idea of what we bring to the table, and stop fighting against each other, and realize the need for us to come together. Huh? Okay? I may not explain it the best, but I'll get better at it. It's coming together, believe me. It's coming together. This is Dr. G. Alfred Palmer, bidding you adieu, and here's to your health, happiness, and wholeness. Until next time we meet, I'm out.